On September 21st, 2010, 5 days before my 61st birthday, I was given a diagnosis of microvascular disease. Following Alzheimer's, microvascular disease is the second leading cause of dementia. I was, as my rather blunt neurologist put it, already dementing. Insofar as I had thought about dementia before that day, I was unaware that the word had a verb form. I dement, you dement, he, she, it dements, they dement, we all dement. Now, 6 years later, the cloak sitteth no less a fit on my chastened back. The denial with which I initially met my diagnosis will seem disingenuous in light of the fact that I knew the symptoms of dementia even then and recognized them in myself. Also, my mother had a form of mental disconnect that made her increasingly out of touch with reality until her death at 82. Given that, why did my doctor's utterance fall so disconsonantly on my ear? It took me a long time to understand how profoundly the diagnosis threatened my sense of identity. My pursuit of a PhD in English in my 40s introduced me to the Enlightenment philosophers. I remember being intrigued by John Locke's and William Whewell's quest for, as Locke puts it, the originals from whence all our ideas take their beginnings, which took both men back to Adam's expulsion from the Garden of Eden. Locke describes fallen Adam as lost in a strange country, with all things new and unknown about him. Whewell pictures Adam doing the first work of postlacerian orientation by giving names, distinct and appropriate to the facts, to newly encountered objects and concepts. I knew something about this project. Having emigrated in 1984 from South Africa to Salt Lake City with my husband Peter and our 2 children, I had experienced the discombobulation of having to decipher situations that must appear mundane to residents equipped with the requisite cultural vocabulary. What, for example, are you supposed to do when an acquaintance drops by your house with her own beverage in tow? How do 2 people proceed from acquaintance to friendship without that most crucial foundation of South African hospitality, a fresh pot of tea? Why is letting your kids run naked through the sprinklers in your own backyard or displaying baby pictures of your kids naked regarded by visitors as tantamount to sexual exploitation? What about the forlorn feeling when hosts with whom you have had a marvelous evening say goodbye to you at the door rather than walking you to your car? By my mid-50s, I had cracked these and other social codes to a great extent. I knew that having coffee meant heading to the nearest Starbucks. I had built up a scaffolding of friends so dear they had become family. Most of the time, I no longer felt like a foreigner. I had developed an American self and was settling into it. But before I had even reached my 60s, I had begun again to feel like an alien of sorts, a stranger even to myself. I first noted an irksome absent-mindedness in my work as the Associate Director of Gender Studies at the University of Utah, a position I took at age 52 after a foray into the corporate world. Like the troublesome serpent in Genesis, an impairment in my working memory, the ability to maintain and manipulate information live in a multi-step process, such as remembering to carry the tens when you add numbers, slunk into my intellectual Eden. My love of teaching was the reason I left my corporate job in 2002 for academics, gladly taking a 25% salary cut. After fewer than 5 years in my dream job, forebodings that not all was well started to cloud my class time. I would lose the thread of a discussion or forget the point toward which I had intended to steer the students' thinking. Often, the name of a novel or author I used to know as well as my children's